Federal agencies are on a constant modernization journey. Working with integrators steeped in managed service program delivery can help agencies make headway with their most pressing IT infrastructure, application, and security needs. I'm Wyatt Cash with Scoop News Group, and joining us to talk about as-a-service support is Jamie Wolff, Associate Administrator for Information Management and Chief Information Officer at the National Nuclear Security Administration. Jamie, thank you so much for joining us. And let me start by asking, can you talk a little about an example of an IT or operational or cultural challenge that your agency faced where adopting an as-a-service model actually presented a faster or more effective way of delivering on your mission?
Well, first, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me today, Wyatt. I really appreciate the opportunity. I think this is an incredibly important topic across the industry and in federal IT and cybersecurity. We are moving more and more towards commercial services. And services, whether it's a managed service provider or a service that we're consuming from a cloud-based technology or something similar to that. And as we're doing that, there are challenges in how we move. One of the first challenges that we had to address is our ability to consume those services. And one of the things that we did to do that, we had to find the right people on our team, the right training and the right capacity to be able to shift the model from providing technology to consuming technology and doing that appropriately.
And can you talk a little bit about, so how are you using managed services to meet mission objectives, and what are you still keeping in-house in contrast?
Yeah, I think when we look at the managed service lens, we're really talking about work at the organization. So agency business operations, business practices, and mission-focused work. And so we take that as being the most important aspect. It's what technology supports that mission and how is that provided? Whether we can go all the way down the path, a journey to a service provider that picks up that mission and supports it, or it's some aspect of it. It may be infrastructure that's provided or a piece of software that we consume from a commercial market. It's a journey for each different business area. That's the thing that we have to keep most in mind. And then as we look at that, there's different levels of maturity on what we might outsource and what we might keep in. Maturity of the business model, maturity of the data security that we have to maintain, or really just the sense of the organization on how much change they want to absorb in their business process at this time. So it's a journey. It's a thing, a roadmap. We have to pay attention to the people, the process, the technology as we move towards these services.
Well, and I can appreciate there's probably a lot of different journeys, different parts of the organization. But I'm curious, where do you see as a service or managed services making the most significant impact on your agency's operations?
Well, the National Nuclear Security Administration, our mission is very important to national security and to nuclear security of the United States. And in that, we deal with classified information. The vast majority of the things that we do are associated with those national security missions. And we are starting to see now, through the efforts and the investments of the Department of Defense, we're starting to see more of a commercial marketplace of cloud-based technologies on classified networks. That is extremely exciting to me. So in that world, we have been relying on those technologies and services that we provide or that we look to service partners in the federal landscape to provide to us, but more and more we'll be able to consume those services. And things like the basic capabilities of email and collaboration. So an Office 365, a tool like we're using today to be able to collaborate and have conversations face-to-face, we'll be able to take advantage of those on classified networks. But it also extends further. The services that we can build on those networks, the services that other partners can build on those networks and then provide back to us. The most exciting part of the managed service construct is that those service providers, that is their mission. They bring expertise, they bring innovation from commercial products, from commercial markets, from other public sector customers, and they bring it to us and we consume it. That is what's really exciting. That's the model that we have to get to. I see that world opening up on classified networks, and I'm really excited about that future.
Well, and as you see as a service models taking greater precedence in an organization, can you talk about some lessons that you've learned so far that you might share with others?
Well, I think one of those easy lessons is that you have to figure out that journey for any given business practice. And in that journey, you also have to figure out your exit ramps. At what point or how much of the technology do we want to move to a service provider, and how much do we want to keep to ourselves? As we do that journey, it is a discovery with the organization. It's not a technology-driven journey. It really is a business-driven journey. And you see different appetites for modernization within the organization. But I would say the other piece of that, when I do look at the technology, so is the technology and the security around the technology really mature and available for our use? And sometimes, we see these technologies being advertised and we're excited about them, but they are at the forward edge of innovation. And we don't always want to be at the forward edge of innovation. Sometimes we want to see the lessons learned proved out in the technology before we get there. And I think that's kind of where the world is with a lot of the service providers. There's still quite a bit of discovery, especially at the enterprise scale, on whether or not these services fully meet the needs of the customers, and then how much of that we can bring in and incorporate it into our technology environments.
It certainly makes a lot of sense. And then lastly, Jamie, can you, as you kind of look ahead into the near-term future, can you talk about where you see as a service models and managed services and managed service providers kind of shaping or reshaping your IT priorities going forward?
Yeah, we were just talking about it on my team this morning, a group of folks sitting here in the office, that we want to move more to consuming those services, whether it's a service provider, like a joint service provider within a government entity where we can leverage those capabilities at scale, or it's a commercial company that's providing a capability that we can consume. Those are the technologies that really excite us. Again, it brings that innovation into the marketplace. We get to leverage that long tail of support and innovation that comes from so many customers behind a service. That is where we will go. And I think at the forward end of some of the exciting things too, where we're seeing more of an emergence of managed service providers that will come into an organization and deliver more technology, more capability, even in the business setting, people and process and technology that they're bringing into your organization. I'm excited about some of those changes too, not just the software as a service or infrastructure as a service kind of cloud-based technology, but also the people aspect and the teaming and the relationships. So we will be going more into this journey. We are at the beginning of the journey, as most large organizations are, but we will continue to make these investments over time.
Well, Jamie Wolff at the National Nuclear Security Administration, thank you so much for joining us for a few minutes and sharing your insights about the increasing role and presence of as-a-service models as you help to build your organization's capabilities. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.